Everybody no more sleeping in bed.
Peace, this TA coming to you from South Jamaica from the Law Library. We here every Friday from 11 to 1, me and my brother Ykim, and we here to give y'all the jewels that we got about the law, about the Constitution, about housing, court, divorce, and everything. Get with us, man. Here's my brother Ykim.
Yo. Peace. This is Ykim, the other half of the Law Library with TA and Ykim. Listen, we're going to teach you your rights, the Constitution, and we're going to tell you the difference between rights and privileges. We're going to talk about many topics: housing court, Supreme Court, civil court, lawsuits, how to defend yourself, how to answer a complaint. We're also going to have people that deal with social work, women that have children that have been involved in the system. We're going to teach you everything we know, because guess what? We got to stand up and we got to wake up. You heard me? Peace. Ykim, Law Library with TA and Ty.
Peace, this is TA and Ykim coming to you from the Law Library podcast. We come here every Friday from 11 to 1 to educate and teach about the law.
Peace, this is Ykim coming to you live from the Law Library. It's what my brother said. We coming to enlighten you of your rights. The last time we aired, we talked about Constitution and amendments and how they affect people in everyday life. And we left off at the Sixth Amendment. So what I want to do is start off by reading you your rights under the Seventh Amendment. So what it says is, in suits at common law where the value in controversy shall exceed $20, the right of trial by jury shall be preserved, and no fact tried by the jury shall be otherwise re-examined in any court of the United States than according to the rules of the common law. So the Constitution is federal, and it provides the states with ability to govern under common law, different rules and procedures that they have. Because in civil lawsuits, if a person is suing, say, let's use a car accident. If a person is using state court to sue about a car accident, somebody jumped the stop sign, ran the red light, hit them, their arm got broke. Nine times out of 10, they are going to settle that case. The insurance companies are going to work it out where the case is settled. But if you should happen to have to go to trial, where it says, no fact tried by a jury shall be otherwise re-examined in any court of the United States, that's not necessarily true, because if you go to a jury trial and let's say you lose, your arm is still broke, the car is totaled, you have a right to appeal that. So that goes to a higher court. And the higher court does, in fact, re-examine everything that happened in the lower court based on the trial record.
Now hold on, bro, because I ain't that familiar with that civil stuff. So
Yeah,
you telling me if I put a lawsuit in, first off, the least I can sue somebody for is $20.
Yeah, that's what, at this time, that's what they was talking about.
All right,
$20
so now
was a lot of
say
money.
I sue somebody, right?
Okay.
But I lose, I have the right to appeal that
If it was
civil
by-
suit,
If it was by trial, yeah.
only if it's by
Oh, matter of fact, could be by judge too.
So either way, I
once
got
you
the
got a
right
right
to sue somebody.
Yeah, you always got a right to sue somebody.
Yeah, no, I'm saying that's something that I just learned, that I didn't know that I could sue
That's
somebody, that I could appeal after a jury has made a determination that they're not going to give me no money.
Right.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
All right.
Because sometimes in state court, even if the judgment is too high, let's say it's $1 million. Judge say, oh, hold up. He only got a broken arm. No. What kind of work you do? Oh, I don't work. Oh, you're not getting this $1 million.
So the judge finds it to be excessive?
Excessive, yeah, he can. And you know, you can appeal that too. I've seen cases where people lost and they came back and they appealed.
All right. The reason I say it, because I'm not that familiar with that civil stuff.
Yes.
Criminal stuff, I'm into.
Right.
Civil, that's why a lot of these amendments, I'm gonna just let you comment on them, because I don't have,
I'm no
you
expert.
know, neither am I.
Oh, okay.
Neither am I, but I do know, just as we said in earlier shows, or rather I said, the rights that I think apply to us is the 1st, 2nd, 4th, 5th, 6th, 8th, 4th, 13th, and 14th.
Okay, so the 8th Amendment, since you brought that up, it says bails, fines, and punishments. Excessive bail shall not be required.
They violate that every day.
Right, exactly, especially poor people going back and forth to court. Half of us can't even get off Rikers Island.
Right.
So, nor excessive fines imposed, nor cruel and unusual punishment inflicted. That's the 8th Amendment, bail, fines, and punishment. You wanted to say that the 8th Amendment was one of the ones you wanted to talk about.
Yes,
So let's talk about
I
it.
really do. Cause
Talk about it.
First, I want to say, not only could you get your 8th Amendment right violate in a prison, it can happen in the street also, right? Second of all, what I want to say is, this is a podcast that's not about name dropping, because we got friends who in jail, and I'm quite sure y'all got friends who in jail. And I need to let y'all know that by talking about them on these podcasts, not this one, but others, because I've watched a few, and they name drop a lot. Those dudes are still in jail fighting for their freedom. And by y'all bringing up these stories that ain't got nothing to do with nothing, as far as I'm concerned, that keeps them in there. Like, let's say a dude from Atlanta, he's locked up, but y'all still bigging his name up. Listen to me, man. The government looks at stuff like that. You know, there's a brother from Chicago who they just won't let his name die down. He's still fighting his case. He got life in prison. Matter of fact, he got several life terms. There's a couple of brothers we know in New York got several life terms. But y'all keep bringing their names up, man. You gotta stop. Let it go. They still fighting to come home. Let's bring them home. Let's help them get home. Not by constantly talking about all the negative stuff that took place 30, 40 years ago. People know the stories. We ain't got to keep reiterating the stories. We ain't going to drop no names or nothing like that. That's for the ones who in jail, who suffer that cruel and unusual 8th Amendment every day. To be in jail is cruel and unusual. The things that happen in there, it's like it will blow the average person's mind. I ain't talking about no camp, no medium facility, even though that's cruel and unusual too, because you locked up. And if you locked up, because what do you lock up? Who do they lock up?
Black and brown.
And wild animals.
People of color.
And wild animals.
Right.
That's who you put in cages, right?
So let me ask you
we
this.
ain't no wild animals. Okay, go ahead, bro.
So you saying basically, if somebody shoots and kills a child, or somebody rapes a 75, 80-year-old grandmother, what kind of punishment do you think it should get?
Well, you really you want to know my honest opinion, and this is outside of the law. There's certain things, right, that the community takes care of, right? Certain things. If you harm a child, back in my day, that I hope you make it to the precinct.
Right.
I hope you get there.
Because it'll be on-the-spot justice.
If you do something to the elderly, a 75-year-old woman, I hope you make it to the precinct. And you better hope you get there too. And then when you get to jail, you better hope that the police don't put you in the right house for the people to take care of you. That's my personal opinion. Now, as far as the law goes, you said to kill a child. That's good. That's 125.25 in the state of New York. Intentional murder.
New York penal law.
That's New York penal law. 125.25, and there's subsections to it.
Right.
Same way I said that if you harm a child, man, and I hope all these accidental shootings of children and the community is not taking care of it, people letting people walk around talking about it like it's all right. Back in February of this month, I went to the Bronx, of this year, excuse me.
and I gotta correct something from another night. I went to the Bronx. A 11-month-old baby was shot in the face. The bullet came out the back of her head.
And she lived?
And through a Lord's grace and mercy, she's still alive.
Okay, that's good. Peace.
But whoever did that, man, look, I'm gonna be straight up, man. If you don't turn yourself in, I don't give a fuck about you, man. And you could get busted, right? And ask for my help, right? And this real shit, I ain't helping. It's real shit, man. You know. But if you want to learn something and get educated about something, just in case you should ever get busted for this, you at the right place, man.
What you mean busted? What's busted?
Arrested.
Okay.
See, let on me say this to you, Ron. I really don't like playing semantics.
No, some people don't know what that mean out there.
What person in America don't know what busted mean?
Quite somebody who just got here.
They get busted in their countries too, bro.
Okay.
Yeah, real shit, man.
Okay, but somebody out there might not
look,
know,
look,
man.
Look,
that's all I'm saying.
So this is what I say
Okay.
to you, is that when I'm talking and I say words like busted, you wait till you talk to tell them what busted is.
Okay,
All right?
gotcha.
All right.
So we still on the 8th Amendment.
Yeah,
right?
we on the 8th Amendment.
Excessive bail.
Cause now I said that it could happen in jail and it could happen in the streets.
How would that happen in the street?
It's the shit these police doing today. And again, this ain't police bashing, man. This just real shit. It's everyday shit. All that violating your rights, your 4th Amendment, all that, your 5th Amendment, your 6th Amendment, all that goes together with the 8th Amendment, man. Cruel and unusual, man. I seen these people do things that's out of this world, man. You know, go ahead. I'm gonna let you go ahead.
No, I've read it already. We were just
All right.
discussing it.
All right.
So, you know, there's, well, the first one, they start off with bails. So let's say a person does a robbery, but they have no money or whatever reason they choose to do the robbery. And then they go in court, they get busted, arrested, go to court, and they get bail set. $150,000, $200,000. You know, that's excessive.
That's
in
excessive.
our community.
In our community, across America, that's excessive. That's
Excessive.
excessive.
Right. Yeah, so what you think about that?
It goes on every day. It
So the
goes
system
on
is just-
every day.
The system just...
See, you know what? Let me go back a little bit.
Okay.
When George Floyd got killed, they talked about the police, right? Systematic racism in the police department, right? But what they don't understand is a system. Not just, it starts with the police. It goes to the courts. It goes to the jails. All these are dependent upon each other.
To operate.
They depended upon, like, they get, listen, in the state of New York, and I'm not sure if it's still the same, but it used to cost $83,000 a year to house a prisoner, whether he was in a camp or a penitentiary, right? So are you trying to tell me that we can't train people, tell them that we're going to give them jobs for $50,000? The state still would save $33,000, right? But this is bigger than the 83 because what it does, it creates industry. Core Crafts, what's the other one? Cisco. You know, they build furniture, they make clothes, they make license plates, they got other businesses. When I was locked up in 2020, I read an article, and this is what I was trying to figure out from the article. Why is the BOP at the financial business world meeting, right? And I'm scratching my head, and then it dawned on me. It's big business.
Oh, no question.
That's what we dealing with, big business. And guess who they banking on?
Us.
They banking on people of color.
People of color.
That's who they banking on. So make no mistake about it. Your child might not be in trouble or whatever the situation, but then they are in trouble, and not just from gang life, but from being locked up, man. There's cases that came out this year where people done been locked up 30, 40 years, man. And they let them out with, I'm sorry. You done took a man's whole life from him, and you sorry. You know, and it may be from where the cop didn't turn over a document, or like in New York, we got this Scarcella individual who like dirty. 10, 11 people done come home after doing 20, 30 years because he told a lie on them. You know, so you got to be aware of everything that goes on. And again, then I'm talking to everybody, but I target the youth, man. I really target y'all, man, because y'all need to know. And the things I see y'all doing is just insane. So you need to learn some critical and consequential thinking, because as we always say, if you knew better, you would do better. You know, what amendment we on?
We finished off on the 8th. So down the 9th is rights retained by the people. That's what you was talking about. The enumeration in the Constitution of certain rights shall not be construed to deny or disparage others retained by the people. Now that one is new to me.
All right.
What does that mean?
No, now I'm gonna tell you about a case. His name Bernard Harris, right? Came from out the Bronx.
People versus Harris?
Bernard Harris is his name.
Okay.
I think it's like 1984, somewhere back in there.
Tell me about
I could be wrong. He killed this girl, right? The police knocking at the door. Boom, 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 boom. He wouldn't open the door. One police go around the building, climb up the fire escape, right? And they see him. Now, he blew trial. The appellate division affirmed. The Court of Appeals, the highest court in the state, they reversed. The people went to the Supreme Court, actually got certiorari to go to the Supreme Court on this. The Supreme Court reverses the highest court of the state. The highest court reversed back because under their state constitution, you had a greater protection than the United States Constitution. Now follow that. Under the state constitution, you had a greater protection
than the federal Constitution.
And that's what that means. That's what that means.
Okay. I thought you didn't know about that one. But that's good. So this could be what they're talking about in the 10th Amendment. Powers retained by the states and the people. The people not delegated to the United States by the Constitution, nor prohibited by it to the states, are reserved to the states respectively or to the people. That's basically what you just said.
They talking about the state constitution.
Right.
Yeah.
So, what I was getting ready to ask you about. So, part of the 14th Amendment in the due process.
We're not there yet. We're not there yet.
Let me finish my question. You just told me wait till you finish. Wait till I finish.
Yeah, absolutely right.
So, you said one time when we was having the discussion, you said the 14th Amendment has more protections and due process rights than the 4th Amendment, which is federal.
No.
You didn't say that?
No.
You didn't say this, that under the 14th Amendment, us here in New York have more protection?
No, I did
under
not.
the state constitution?
No, I did not.
Oh, okay.
I said the state offers you a greater protection than the 4th Amendment. The state constitution offers you a greater protection than the 4th Amendment from the United States Constitution, right? Now, we did have plenty conversations, and I really didn't want to talk about the 14th right now.
I wasn't talking, I just was asking a question.
All right, well, I'm going to just answer it.
You want to go to it?
All right. The 14th Amendment is like the protector of all amendments.
Okay.
You can't do nothing without due process.
Right.
Don't name one of them. See, this is the thing, that every one of these amendments affords you due process.
Okay.
From the 1st to way up to the 10th. And so forth and so on. It's the 14th Amendment that interlocks them all together. You can't do nothing.
It binds them together.
You can't do nothing without the 14th Amendment. Due process.
Right.
You have to have due process.
That's what we was talking about. That's why I asked you that again. But all right, though. So we at the law library with Ty. We're gonna take a quick break, and we'll be back shortly.
Peace. This is TA from the law library. I'm sitting here with Ykim, my brother, and he's getting ready to read the 13th Amendment.
Peace. This is Ykim. Okay, so we're gonna start back at the 13th Amendment, and according to my nice little constitutional book, it says the abolishment of slavery, Section 1. Neither slavery nor involuntary servitude, except as punishment for crime, whereof the party shall have been duly convicted, shall exist within the United States or any place subject to their jurisdiction. Section 2 says Congress shall have power to enforce this article by appropriate legislation. So while we was off air, I was asking my brother, and we was talking about it, and it said that the 13th Amendment of the Constitution was adopted and ratified in December 1865. So, but there's another part to it. I don't have the information right in front of me, but most people of color are have celebrated Juneteenth. That's when a certain group of slaves in, I think it was Texas, did not get the word about being free until sometime after the 13th Amendment, quite a couple of weeks, a couple of months after the 13th Amendment was ratified and adopted into the Constitution. So that's why there's Juneteenth. There was a little bit later, they got noticed a little bit later. What you think about that, bro? Involuntary servitude, except as punishment for crime.
Well, I don't think us as blacks, we still suffer from the effects of slavery, man.
In what way?
And the generational trauma again.
Back to
I
that.
don't know about back then and all that. I'm talking about now. And slavery could be the denial of education. It could be the denial of the proper medical.
Or housing.
How what?
Housing.
Housing, definitely housing, because after all the projects was built, low income projects, right? And this is interesting because first they was built for the people coming home, the soldiers back in the 40s. That's what projects was built for them. And then they came home and got all the good jobs, and they stuck the blacks in the projects with the welfare, another form of slavery, which if you ask me, I'm going to tell you that welfare means farewell to the human family, but that's just my opinion. But I do believe us as a people, we still suffer from slavery.
Okay. Keep that in mind. So the next amendment is the 14th Amendment, and it deals with civil rights. And you were saying in our previous discussion that you feel that the 14th Amendment is what binds all the other amendments together. So I'm just going to read Section 1, okay? Because there's numerous sections.
It's a lengthy section.
Right, I'm not going to go into all of them right now. So it says that Section 1, all persons born or naturalized in the United States and subject to the jurisdiction thereof are citizens of the United States and of the state wherein they reside. No state shall make or enforce any law which shall abridge the privileges or immunities of citizens of the United States, nor shall any state deprive any person of life, liberty, property, without due process of law. That's how our conversation got kicked off on that. Nor deny any person within this jurisdiction the equal protections of the laws. That's section 1. We'll get to section 2 on the next episode.
All right, but
this
the
is what
most
we're gonna talk
important
about.
thing you said in section 1,
Life, liberty, and due
this
process.
Constitution applies to all that's born or neutralized
Right.
in America, right?
Yeah.
So if you, and that's why what we had going on back in the 80s and the 90s, dudes was catching these sentences, right?
Yeah.
They would get 15 years in jail and then get deported
Right.
because they wasn't protected by the Constitution, because
They
they
wasn't
wasn't born here and they never went down and tried to get their papers to be here, which they call neutralization papers, right? Yeah, you know.
Are we saying that word right? Neutralization?
No, it's
Or
naturalization. It's
right.
naturalization.
Right.
Right?
Correction.
So
Naturalization.
I think that's the most important part of the 14th. But then, right up under where it says Amendment 14, it says civil rights.
Right. That's okay. Yeah.
Civil rights.
That's
Right?
the header, yeah.
That's the Constitution, right?
Yeah.
That everybody who's protected by this Constitution has a civil right to use this Constitution.
Right.
There's a couple of young men that I know who are in jail, not for murder, right?
Okay.
But because they violated a person's civil right to live.
Okay, that happens.
That's what happened, right?
Right.
And believe me, it happened. A friend of mine got 7 lifetimes for it, where the feds say he violated somebody's civil right to live. That you have a right to live. That you have a civil right that's governed by this amendment right here,
Okay.
right? And people don't know, you know, like with the feds, they will come and they will charge you. I've very seldom seen it done in state court. Matter of fact, I've never seen it done in state court. But in federal court, that you could beat a state murder prosecution and the feds can come and pick that case up and say you violated a person's civil right to live.
So let me ask you this question. I know you was talking about. I gotta ask you this before I forget. So you mentioned George Floyd earlier.
Yeah.
What about Eric Garner? Didn't the feds decline prosecuting those police for that?
Yeah. For years. For years.
I don't think they ever got prosecuted.
No. I could have.
Eric Garner, did they?
Staten Island, a cigarette.
Right. A
A
black
cigarette.
man.
Right.
So
You know,
did they get
I could have
prosecuted?
swore that the feds did something where they said they was going to prosecute the case.
They were supposed to be
You know.
investigating. Go ahead, bro. I'm trying to look
Yeah,
this up.
you know, so it's real important that y'all keep up with what we saying. Again, we're here to educate and teach. That's all we want to do is teach you some things that could possibly save your life, man. You know. Yo, bro, you know, I was watching a couple of them shows today, right? And like the youth really in trouble. And I'm saying the youth, right?
Okay.
Because they do things and then they make a record about it, or they get on these podcasts and they talk about it, right? And I'm sitting there listening to some of this stuff and I'm saying, wow, this guy just set himself up for a life sentence, man. He's on there talking about what him and Joe Blow did or whoever, man. You know, you can't, look, that if a guy's in jail, right, and he's trying to tell you you should do something, you need to really stop and take inventory of where that information is coming from. Misery loves company, man. Misery loves. The youth is so fortunate today, bro. Really, man. With all these programs and opportunities, but they just feel as though I ain't doing that shit. But then you don't want to go to jail because you get busted and you tell on somebody.
So that's what they do, being tough guys.
That's what they do, being tough guys, man. You know it's sad because what they're doing with this RICO thing is they're locking up 20 and 30 at a time. And there's a kid in there somewhere who had nothing to do with anything, but he's guilty by association. You know, so Like, yo, and you've heard me say this before, it ain't nothing wrong with saying, I'm not down with no dumb shit like that, man. Believe me, listen to what I say. It's gonna save you some heartache. It's gonna save your mother and father some heartache, man. That you got the choice to do right or wrong.
Because if you knew better, you would what?
You would do better.
So I just pulled it up. Department of Justice declined to federally prosecute
Okay.
the officers
That ain't the first time.
who killed Eric Gardner.
That's not the first time.
Yeah. So,
That's basically in most police involved cases,
right.
you know.
But you think,
What?
go ahead.
Go ahead.
So the Gardner family got 5.9 million out of court settlement. You think that played any role in that? Like, just take this money, can't get the life back, but we'll settle with you for this. And the feds say, okay, well, if y'all settling with the city, then y'all got your justice already, so we're not going to prosecute them.
Yeah, that definitely plays a part. It definitely plays a part, you know. But again, 5.9 is not worth their loved one's life. That they rather have Eric than 5.9.
Right.
You know, there's been other cases. Take guys who come home from jail. 28 years in jail. Oh, we'll give you $6 million.
Right.
Dude, you know how much you could have done and accomplished in 28 years?
If it was on the right track, yeah, a lot.
Yeah,
The sky's the limit.
Yeah, yeah.
But I think them cases are settled based on, I know part of it is based on a prior work history. I mean, if you're 25 years old and you get accused of killing somebody in that, what's that cop name out of Brooklyn? Scarcella. So he comes along, he gets the crackhead to say you sold drugs or you killed somebody, and you do the 25 years, you're 25 years at the time, so you get out, you're 50 years old. But before you went in, you didn't have no work history, you wasn't skilled, you didn't have no education. I think most of the people would take 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 million dollars.
I disagree, man. I disagree.
Okay.
There's nobody who I know
Uh-huh.
would take $5-10 million to go to jail for 25 years.
Right.
You know, I don't care if he
Well, if
had
they falsely accused, we talk.
yeah, but whether he had a job or not, was part of what you said, that settlement is based upon what you was making before you, this here violation happened to you, right?
Mm-hmm.
There's nobody in their right mind. I don't care if you was making $10 a week.
Mm-hmm.
You ain't volunteered to go to jail for no $10 million for 25 years. We have to look at what 25 years is. That's a generation. 25 years is
2.5
that
decades.
you could have had children, you could have
Right.
been a successful business owner, you could have been a doctor, you could have been anything you wanted to be, and no one can place a value on that.
Right.
No one can place a value on that, man, you know, so that's the part I disagree with you about, you know.
No, I ain't no problem.
But it's crazy, man, and this happens every day. Every day this happens, you know. And not just in New York, there's other states where, like I told you last
You want
week,
North Carolina?
the guy in Jefferson County, Alabama,
Oh, okay.
33 years.
And what was the end
He's
result?
62 now. He's 62.
He was forcibly convicted?
He was unjustly convicted of a crime he didn't do.
And what was what did they give him?
They ain't gave him nothing but freedom yet.
Oh,
You know, and told him they sorry, that they made a mistake.
it's a hell of a mistake.
Yeah, it definitely is. And now, this is Alabama, so they might offer him, I don't know how much. That I worked on a case in North Carolina where two brothers went to jail for a crime that they did not commit. One of them did 28 years on death row.
On death row?
On death row. He did 28 years on death row. And his brother was subject to all type of inhumane stuff, right?
Abuse?
Physical abuse,
Right.
you know. So the state of North Carolina gave them 1.5. The feds corrected it and gave him $75 million. But is that worth the 28 years of mental anguish, of screaming out of a cage, or not eating, or the police cutting your light off, or all type of any type of wickedness that you can think of happens, man. Like it happens, and there's no dollar amount that can make it right in my book. There's no amount. Look.
But
go ahead. No.
I was gonna say, I would think, like you said, okay, the feds came along and corrected what you said, $75 million.
Yeah.
I mean, you can't go back in time. You can't go back. You're not gonna get them years back. But after all that time, getting out, that give them a chance to start life. That give them a chance, a good chance to start life.
At 60-something years old?
Yeah, well, you can't go back in time. That's what I'm saying.
Just let me ask you something.
Go ahead.
What's the life expectancy
of who?
Of a black male in America?
I believe it's 82.
73.
Okay, let's look that up. Go ahead.
73. You know. So this guy just did, and actually he did 28 on death row and 3 in population.
That's terrible.
Both of them did 31 years overall for a crime that they did not commit. And it's so crazy because the dude who did the crime happened to be one of the brother's cellmates. You know, it's crazy, man. You know, but me, and this is me, man.
Okay.
I wouldn't care if they gave him $100 million. It's over. Okay. You know, the mental anguish that they went to, and just as I said, the physical abuse and all that stuff, there ain't no amount of money in this damn world worth that.
Life expectancy, 78.79 years.
It's went down since then.
That's in 2019.
That's in 2019.
Right. You know, I said 83.
So you know, just getting back to that.
Okay.
If that's how I gotta get money, I don't want the damn money, man. I ain't lying, man. I ain't lying. It ain't nothing like being free, man.
That's right.
That you could be broke today and rich tomorrow. Who knows what can happen? But when you in jail, don't a damn thing
None of that happens. Yeah.
There's no good fortune.
Stand up for the count.
Especially if you ain't in the law library.
Gotta be in the law library.
That's why they taking the books from out the law library now.
Oh, word? I ain't know that.
Taking the books and giving them the
pads.
The iPad,
yeah,
what they call kiosk or something.
Yeah.
They give all that stuff is outdated. You ain't never up to date with the law like you are with the books.
That's if they bring them in there.
Everything is electronically done now.
Right.
You know, and just as I said that I just left 2 years ago. So so back when I got on, the only case that I could pull up was from June of 2019, but we in May of 2020. So that's a whole lot of law that's missing there that you could never be up on because they 6, 7, 8 months behind.
Right.
That you at somebody's beck and mercy to enter this data and don't know about, I'll do it next month. You know, it's real important that you utilize the law library, man. You know, there's only so much that I could tell you, right? And it's times when I can call cases off and stuff. But those cases need to be updated. Shepherdized is called. That they need to be shepherdized. That you need to be able to know how to use the keys and the digest and all that stuff.
I don't think they're giving them all that.
Yeah, they got them in them joints, man.
Now you're talking about on iPad. Which one was you saying was outdated?
I'm
the books
talking
or
the iPad or the Chaosic, I think it's called. It's outdated.
Chaos.
It's outdated.
Okay.
Law books come into a law library damn near every week. It's some books coming in. You know, that's how you got Fed second, Fed third, and when it get to $9.99 and it go back to 1, it'll be Fed fourth. The same thing with the state.
Okay.
They call second series, third series. But if you stop going, then they say, well, why the hell we got to buy these books?
That's what I'm saying.
Why we got to buy
they
these
even
books?
bring them in there.
It's only 3 guys up in the law library. And I know damn well most of these New York State joints, prisons, Got guys who doing life sentence, but what they choose to do, play basketball, lift weights. If that's how you spend your time,
That's
good.
cool. But I'm telling you, go
It's
to the
good.
law library.
But I'm telling you what y'all need to know is a lot of guys psych themselves out into thinking that they can do these 25 and 30 years. And some can. Now, don't get me wrong. Some can. But who, look, man, nobody should have a greater incentive than you to utilize the law library.
I agree with that.
It's the
That's
only
what I
way.
did.
Yo, the only people who I ever seen try to escape from a New York state prison was white people.
Right.
I ain't never seen a black man try to escape from no New York state prison, right? And I say that to say that I really don't know if it's fear. You
Okay.
know, again, that goes back to that generational trauma, right? Every dude who I know made it out was through that law library, man.
Of course.
Through that law library. There's a key on every book for a reason, man. Use it, man. Go. It's like finding a needle in the haystack, but I ain't got nothing else better to do if I'm in jail but try and figure a way out. I ain't got time to run around no yard. Oh, he got a beef with my mans. Man, go ahead with that. I'm trying to go home.
But let me ask you this thing that you said home. What do you think about dudes that get cases and they do make it out on bail, right? And even if this is either with an attorney or court appointed or retained attorney or without, there's the law libraries in every courthouse in every borough.
Yeah, but see,
How often, now me and you used to go up there,
yeah.
but how often you see anybody else go up there? Or have you ever told a client that you work with, yo, go up here, pull this case, sit down and read that so you can understand what's going on?
I've done it, and they said, look, I'm going to pay you to do it. Okay, great. I ain't got no problem with that, right?
Yeah.
But now, just let me say this about these county courthouses that got law libraries in them, right?
We got one, yeah.
These people are trying to tell you that you can't come in. No, this is for lawyers only. It's a public building.
Correct.
It's a public building. You can't stop me from coming in to utilize the law library. You know, and that goes to knowing these rights, man, right? Because dudes say, no, you can't come in. Man, is you crazy? Did you hear what this said? All persons born or naturalized in the United States and subject to the jurisdiction thereof are citizens of the United States.
14th Amendment, y'all.
That you can't tell me that I can't come into a public building. You can't tell me I can't use these law books. So when, like, and we've said this before, that when people start violating your rights, just because you know them puts a pause in there. Oh, hold it, this guy know what he's talking about. You know, but you gotta know it to be able to talk it, man. You know, you letting these people jump out on you and lay you on the ground. They doing it to you, and in your case, older gentlemen too. They laying them on the ground, searching them. This gun squad is going crazy in New York. Yes, there is a gun problem, right? But who started the gun problem? The NRA. You know. So what do? All right. They are going crazy. Let's change the laws. Congress enacts more money. But you didn't want to enact money for housing. You ain't want to enact money for jobs. But because it's gun violence, right? That somehow there is no gun factories in the state of New York. There is no gun factories in Connecticut. There is no gun factories in New Jersey. I'm just talking about the tri-state area, right?
Yeah.
So how the hell all these guns get in here, man?
I saw a story on the news where what they did was they tracked the gun squad. They tracked somebody was using their ID buying a bunch of weapons in Alabama, and they went back and they got the paperwork for them, and they tracked the serial numbers, and all of them. I think it was one person went and brought 65 guns, and all those guns came up to New York.
That's only
And-
65.
that based on this story that they talked about. And it was in less than 5 months. 2 police got shot by one of the weapons, and a couple of other people got killed by the other guns. But they tracked it, so right, there's no gun factories in the tri-state area that I know of.
Yeah.
But they're going down south. They're not filling out the right paperwork or waiting to the background check. I think it's 3 days you gotta wait for the background check.
I'm really not sure.
Neither am I, but the dude's supposed to do that. But the dude was just jetting them right back from Alabama straight up to New York, selling them. And in less than 5 months, all those weapons that he brought on that one particular occasion was used in gun violence crime.
So they got all them guns. That's 65.
Not all of them. They didn't say that on the show that they got all.
Right.
They just used the examples. I think it was on CBS.
Yeah. Now.
Yeah. So we do have a gun problem.
Yeah, but that 65 ain't nothing.
Yeah, because there's more than that out there.
You know.
Way more than that.
Who's making all these weapons?
Gun manufacturers.
Okay, so they send them to these gun dealers
Right.
all up and down 95. I think it's once you get below Virginia,
Okay.
right? So now you got one person come by 65 weapons. At what point do you say, what the hell he needs 65 handguns for?
Probably already know.
You know, of course, because they're making money off of our
Right.
misery.
Right.
Off of our misery. And that's why I speak to the youth, especially now with that Second Amendment bill being passed. You have the right to apply for a gun license. You have the right to apply for a shotgun when you're 18.
If you don't have no record.
Even an assault rifle if you're 18 with no record.
No
right?
record.
Now most of these dudes, right, like I talk to the 13 to 25, but most of the stuff going on is the older dudes, and then you got this ghost gun thing.
What's that?
That's where you can buy individual parts from off the internet and make a gun.
Oh, wow.
You know, back in my time, that was called a zip gun.
Right.
You know, you could make a zip gun. But this is what I'm saying, man, right? We not supplying these weapons. They coming from gun manufacturers, from the NRA. That's my belief, from the NRA. That's who they coming from.
These people, are these people black or white?
Who?
People in the NRA.
Both.
The ones you're talking about?
Both.
Okay. All right.
Both.
Do you believe that the gun manufacturers have in the back of their mind, yeah, I'm going to sell Joe Blow 75 guns because I know black people going to take them and use them?
Yes, I
against
do.
each other?
Yes, I
All right,
do.
so do I.
Yes, I do.
All right, bro. So this is the Law Library with TA and Ykim, the Law Library with Ty,
I'm TA.
and I'm Ykim. And we got a slogan: if you knew better,
You
you'll
would
do
do
better.
better.